Hey, sweet friends. Welcome to Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen. Today I am making Mama Sue's mashed potatoes on page 20 of my #1 cookbook. Now, I've mentioned this before. I love this cookbook because it has all of those holiday recipes that you want in one place. That's the reason why I put this together. So anyway, I have brought my pot of water to boiling, and I have put about a couple, probably a half a tablespoon of salt in here. And then I just want to show you what I've done with my potatoes. So you take 5 or 6 potatoes, I have peeled them, and when I cut mine, I cut them really, really thin, like this. And it just makes it really easy when it comes time for mashing them, okay? All right, so I just cut them really thin like that, okay? Now, I put them in a bowl over here. So they're all sliced like this, okay? Now, this is the scariest part to me. I am not so great at putting potatoes in boiling water, and so I actually like to just kind of do this. I have tried so many different ways to just kind of dump them in, and maybe you guys can tell me what you do, but since I don't want to get burnt, I'm just going to place them in like this. Okay. Now I can see that that's probably a little bit too much water, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my measuring cup and I'm going to take some water off the top of that. Okay. So I'm going to let these come to a boil. And I'll tell you what my cookbook says, just so you know. If you're following along, it's on page 20. And all right, so we're going to cook these until they're tender for about 15 minutes. So once this comes to a boil again, I'm going to turn it down, and I'm just going to let it kind of simmer and cook for about 15 minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay, so the potatoes, they ended up cooking for about 7 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes, because I cut them so thinly. So I learned that trick actually after I created that cookbook. So when you look in the cookbook and it says 10 to 15 minutes, if you have cut your potatoes into big chunks, then it might take that long. So just watch them. You just want them to be fork tender, okay? So since they were so thin, again, they cooked so fast. So I am going to put them, I have drained them, and I'm going to put them in this bowl, because this is what I'm going to serve my potatoes, my mashed potatoes in. And then I'm just going to show you a little trick that I do so that I don't have so many dishes, while I'm cooking for that Thanksgiving meal. All right, so I've got my bowl here with my potatoes, and then I have to tell you this. When I made these potatoes, this was before I ever knew that I was going to be Miss Annie with Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen. This is just me loving on Mama Sue, buying her cookbook, and seeing that Mama Sue's mashed potatoes did not have any milk in them. And I was like, wait, what? Because I have always spent so much time trying to figure out how much milk, I would always mess it up. Either it wasn't enough or it was too much milk. So then my mashed potatoes were running. So this is all she does, okay? So she takes 1 stick of butter, and I am going to cut this up a little bit. So it's just 1 stick of butter, okay? And then 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise. I can't think. And I am going to use the Duke's mayonnaise, okay, because it is so delicious. That was another thing that I have learned through Mama Sue. Okay, and then you just mash these up. I am going to add my salt and pepper in just a minute, okay? Ooh. Come here, little buddy. Let's put you back in. Okay, now I'm actually going to add my salt and pepper now. And I love this little salt and pepper container. It's like my favorite. Since I already added salt to the water, I'm not going to add too much salt. I kind of like my guests to be able to just kind of add their salt if they want it. I do like a lot of pepper in my mashed potatoes, so I'm going to add quite a bit of pepper to my mashed potatoes. Okay, now I'm going to mix this up some more. And you can see they're getting really creamy. And it's like, it's not too much. It's like it's just enough. Now, if you want, of course, you can add more mashed potato, mayonnaise if you would like. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my little spoon, stir this around. And I'm going to mix it up just a little bit more. Okay. And there you have it. I'm going to stir this around just a little bit, kind of bring my mashed potatoes kind of together in this bowl. Now, normally, honestly, I probably double this recipe for my family because we love mashed potatoes so much. But this was 5 or 6, just like the recipe calls for in the book. And then what I do is if I'm going to serve it in the same bowl, I take a paper towel and I just go around the edges like this and kind of just clean it up. And then that's it. Those are your mashed potatoes and they're so, so good. So I'm going to take a little bite of them. You guys, that is so good. You are going to love it. And I hope you saw how easy that was. It's just your potatoes, a stick of butter, a tablespoon-ish, more or less. Well, for sure a tablespoon. If you want to put more mayonnaise in there, you can. It doesn't really matter what kind. If you don't have Dukes where you are, that's not a problem. Just get a good mayonnaise, okay? And then some salt and pepper, and that was it. It's yummy every single time. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like this #1 cookbook, this is what it looks like, and it has all of the holiday dishes in it in one spot. That's the whole reason why I made this cookbook, was because I wanted to be able to find my favorite recipes in one spot. So you can go to Miss Annie's Home and Kitchen to find it. Also, you know, we have #2 cookbook, which is that Celebrate. These make amazing, wonderful gifts. And buy one for yourself if you want to too. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Take care.